What's up, Snow Pros? Welcome to the history of teaching skiing and riding in the US. Skiing has deep European roots that blend with local culture to create a unique scene across the country. But how did the industry evolve? It's thanks to the instructors and coaches, the ambassadors who've shared the joy of sliding on snow over the years. Founded in 1961, the Professional Ski Instructors of America, or PSIA, brought an American way of teaching skiing to the slopes. Today, PSIA-AASI is recognized globally as a leader in innovative snowsports education. I'm Andy, and I work at PSIA-AASI, the association that trains and certifies instructors across all snowsports disciplines like adaptive, alpine, cross-country, snowboard, and telemark. With nearly 35,000 members, our instructors help you not just learn, but excel, whether that's tackling black diamonds or perfecting tricks. Last week we premiered the series, and this week we're talking about Interski, the Snowsports Instructors Olympics, and the early years of PSIA-AASI. The US first attended Interski in 1962 in Italy, but the next event in Austria is where people really got amped up by the Americans. So much so that the following Interski in 1968 ended up in Aspen, Colorado. During this time, a debate arose about American skiing instruction. Did you ski how you were told, or did you ski how you wanted? PSIA struggled with this dynamic, having to restructure their board of directors, and eventually they merged the two ideals of fun and fundamentals. This led to the development of the skills concept, focusing on teaching skills rather than drills and maneuvers. It's hailed as one of ski instruction's most significant developments. Fun fact, early memberships cost about $15 and included a highly prized PSIA pin. Last week we introduced the skills concept, but this week we're teaching legendary late night host Johnny Carson how to ski. In the 60s, skiing was booming and everyone wanted in. Enter Carson, suited up, playing the bumbling beginner on his show while instructor Kitty Falger corrected his technique live on air. It did wonders for instructors. US skiing at the time was influenced by Swiss, Austrian, and French methods, plus veterans of the 10th Mountain Division, but regional differences here made getting consistent lessons tough. To address this, 7 top instructors from different regions, known as the Magnificent Seven, met in Whitefish, Montana to establish PSIA. They created the American technique, detailed in the White Book, which focuses on final forms, the ultimate skier silhouette. It was a bold move that laid the foundation for modern US snowsports instruction. We're in the 70s now, and the 70s were all about innovation and experimentation in skiing. Early ski instruction was built on strict form and technique, but the American demo team at the 1975 Interski proved that having fun was more important when they showcased a wide stance hang-loose style. Back home, instructors were figuring out their own skiing styles, and pioneers like Max Lunderberg and Horst Abraham turned that energy into a ski instruction renaissance as they skied blindfolded, with their boots unbuckled, and even with water spritzed in their ears to throw off their equilibrium, all to improve instruction. They believed that understanding how the body moves on the slopes could help students learn better. Thus came the updated version of the skills concept, which focused more on edge control, pressure, and rotary movements. Most countries emphasized similarity and synchronicity, but Americans focused on their uniqueness and the science, which they brought to the 1979 Interski, impressing the international audience. Let's talk about the surge of cross-country, telemark, and adaptive skiing. Cross-country skiing gained popularity after the 1976 Winter Olympics, when American Vilcox secured a silver medal by showing off the new technique of skating rather than striding. After that, in 1979, PSIA added Nordic members to the demo team and started referring to each discipline individually. The telemark turn is skiing's oldest method of changing direction while descending a snow-covered slope. Telemark resurged with the use of cross-country equipment and intrigued instructors because the turn was more difficult to learn and it gave easier access to the backcountry. The 10th Mountain Division opened up the world of adaptive skiing to Doug Pringle, a wounded Vietnam War vet. Thanks to the gravity-fed freedom he found, Doug became instrumental in getting adaptive techniques incorporated into PSIA standards throughout the 1970s. Oh yes, the snowboarders are here and they're not going anywhere. It all started with a simple question: why not one board instead of two? At a time when skiing was losing just a little bit of steam, snowboarding emerged with a bit of an outlaw image to it, thanks to its roots in surfing and skateboarding. Most resorts immediately banned it, partly because insurance wouldn't underwrite snowboards as directional devices. David Alden began promoting snowboarding in the 1980s at Berthoud Pass and became the first snowboard instructor in Breckenridge in 1985. He, along with many others like Bud King and Jake Burton, worked tirelessly to grow the acceptance of snowboarding across the country. The first snowboard manual for PSIA was published in 1989. A few years after that, in the mid-1990s, snowboarding became America's fastest growing sport. The term freestyle became associated with it thanks to halfpipes and creative jumps, attracting a lot of youth to the industry. PSIA saw this boom and, despite a bit of resistance, established AASI, the American Association of Snowboard Instructors, in 1997, giving the sport equal footing in the industry. Who runs the world? Girls. Women have been on snow as long as men. In fact, the first U.S. Winter Olympic medals were won by women. Gretchen Fraser in 1948 and Andrea Meade Lawrence in 1952. By the 70s, instructors like Karen Holhaus and Alyssa Slanger were key in addressing gender issues in snow sports. Slanger's 1979 book, Ski Woman's Way, helped recognize the uniqueness of female skiers, leading to equipment innovations. Ellen Post and Carol Levine were on the 1980 PSIA demo team, with Dee Byrne joining in 1984. These women had to ski harder to prove themselves, but PSIA's student-centered teaching approach shifted the focus to how women learn and excel in snow sports. Fast forward to 2023, Anne Shorling, a PSIA national team member, delivered a research-backed keynote on gender equity in snow sports instruction at Interski 2023 in Levi, Finland, showing that there's still a lot of work to be done. Anne received a standing ovation after her keynote. Today, our Nancy Oakes Hall Women's Scholarship, Partnership with Women of Winter, and Women's Council for Equity and Inclusion are just some of the ways we're working to bring more parity to the slopes and grow the next generation of women snow sports leaders. Last week, we introduced women powerhouses into snow sports, and this week, we're weaving them into the fabric of skiing and riding culture. What does skiing and riding culture mean to you? Is it the thrill of the mountain, the connection to nature, or the après-ski vibes? Maybe it's the progression, innovation, and professional development opportunities, just like it is for our 35,000 members. No matter your reason, ski and snowboard culture are built on community, the friendships, and sometimes the friendly rivalries. When our national team went to Interski in Austria in 2011, they focused on community and culture. Instead of showcasing new innovations and new philosophy, they brought the international spirit of skiing and riding, emphasizing the importance of instructor-student connection in creating lifelong participants. As much as instruction is about improving, it is foremost about sharing the love of the sport. You still teach the turn, but only after you build the trust. What's the culture mean to you? Last week, we explored the culture of skiing and riding, and this week, we're diving into the tools instructors use to share that culture. The Learning Connection Model, or LCM, from PSIA-AASI is a key framework for effective snow sports instruction. It integrates 3 essential skills: teaching, technical, and people skills. Together, these components create a well-rounded approach that enhances both student learning and instructor development. Introduced in the early 2010s, the LCM was developed to address the evolving needs of snow sports instruction. Before this, the focus was mainly on technical skills, but as the industry grew more diverse, a balanced approach became essential. The LCM was first showcased at Interski in 2015 in Ushuaia, Argentina. Today, the LCM is the cornerstone of training for the job of snow sports instruction, guiding instructors at all levels to deliver high-quality instruction for their students and to prepare for their certification assessments. What's up, Snow Pros? Welcome to the final episode of Teaching Skiing and Riding in the US. Last week, we talked about the last major enhancement to snow sports instruction, the Learning Connection Model, and this week, we're talking about where skiing and riding instruction are headed next. Who could have predicted that PSIA-AASI would get to where it's at today? Who would have thought that the renegade Americans, once seen as radical for focusing on fun, would become the world's largest and most influential snow sports education association? But what we do know is there are more than 30,000 people out there certified and dedicated to teaching people how to slide on snow and are committed to sharing that experience of gliding through nature with others. Our members range from teenagers to folks in their 90s. There are multiple generations teaching on snow right now, but it's the fresh generations that can bring a new wave of energy to snow sports. So, if you're watching this and you like teaching, being outside and sharing experiences with others, come check us out. After all, skiers and snowboarders are pretty darn cool, and having an outdoor office is equally as rad. On top of this, the skills you learn as an instructor are applicable in so many other areas of life. And that wraps up our series on American snow, the snow sports instruction revolution. I covered a lot in this book, but I didn't cover everything. And if you'd like more, go ahead and find yourself a copy in the PSIA-AASI shop. There's a lot of information in there, and it's good to own a little chunk of history. We have a lot more coming out for you, our members, throughout the season, and a lot of resources can be found online at thesnowpros.org, so make sure you're tuning back in and headed online to find some of those resources available to you. Thanks for joining along, y'all. See you out on snow.